So now, day 3 is almost identical to day 2, with one slight twist. Right? The twist is on the second side of the page, which I'll talk about next class. For the first page, I'm just going to show you a different way of what you were doing in day 2. So maybe it'll help some of you guys make less mistakes. So, what is the difference between day 2 and day 3? Instead of saying adding, subtracting terms, we're adding, subtracting polynomials. All right? That's the difference. All right? And if you look at the questions, you'll notice that it'll be brackets in here. You have this bracket plus this bracket. Or on the back side, the 2 brackets with a minus sign in between. Okay? All right. So adding is the easy one. If there's a plus sign, we do exactly what we did it in day 2. So day 2, the method we did was called the horizontal method, when we just go all the way across and you sort of find your like terms, right? So that's what we're going to do here. So the horizontal method, right? If it's a plus sign, you can sort of ignore this bracket. You can say this plus this. So we go to the left, you go, oh, this one, is it same as anything else?
Yes.
Which one, Ryan?
3x to the x minus 2.
Yeah. So you go negative 2 plus 3 ends up 1x squared. The 1 we don't need to show. Then we go to the next one. We go, here's a number without a letter. It matches up with 2. So we have negative 4 plus 2. That's minus 2. And then we go, this is left over, minus 2x. I'll do 3 lines there. Right? And if you wanted to write it in highest degree to lowest degree, it would have looked like this. That's the optional step. Right? Okay. So now, the other method is instead of going horizontally, this is the method I sort of recommend for most of the stuff. But as things get more complicated, a vertical method is sometimes a little bit easier to organize. All right? So we have the same question here. So the vertical method, what I suggest is you take the longest one and you just put it on the bottom. So I'm going to take the longest one, I'm going to put it on the bottom. So that's this one here. The order that you put it down doesn't matter. So I'm going to go 3x squared minus 2x plus 2. Right? I'm going to put that on the bottom here. Then I'll take the other bracket. In that case, it'll be this one here. I'm going to write it above these terms. A like term above like term. So I have negative 2x squared. I'm going to put that in front of above the x squared term. I have a 4. I'm going to put that in front above the other one. That's just a number. So now, this is sort of like adding an elementary school. You just add vertically. You go down here. You have negative 2 plus 3. That is 1x squared. This one has nothing to combine with. So that's minus 2x. And this one's negative 4 plus 2 minus 2. So the same answer as before. Okay? Just done slightly differently. Now, some people really like this method just because you see the adding so much nicer. The like terms are right above each other, right? The only reason I don't do it as frequently is it just takes up more space, right? But it is much easier and you're less likely to make mistakes, especially when you're asked to add more complicated things. The things get longer. This way you can organize it and you're less likely to lose something. The third method is using those tiles that we mentioned in day 1. And I'm not going to ask you to do that. So we're just going to scratch this method out. We're not going to do that. We're just going to work with numbers. All right? So I'm going to do this first one with you. All right? Then I'll get you to do the next 2. All right? So we have, I'm going to write Now these are both the same length, so it doesn't matter which one I write down first. You can write down the left one first or the right one first. It doesn't really matter, right? So I'll do the left one first this time. 2x squared plus x minus 3. All right? So match it up. Like term looks like term. So we have x squared with x squared. X with x, take the sign with it. Number with number. Okay. Then they're all stacked vertically. Right? So what do we have for the left column? Right? What number would we put down here? What would it be? Negative 1. Negative 1x, or just negative x. And don't forget your square on that. Right? This one, negative 2 plus x, right, is what?
X or 1.
Negative 1x. Or just negative x. The ones you don't have to show, right? But if it's helpful to show the 1, you can put the 1 in there, right? And finally, negative 1 and negative 3 is negative 4. That's it.
Sorry. For this left one, can I put it? Should I put it up or down, above or bottom?
What do you?
Or left one? For this.
It.
This part. This part. Should I put
Oh,
it
here or there? It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't.
Doesn't matter, all right? So you just pick which one do you want to put first, right? And my suggestion is always do the longest one because it has the most number of terms, right? But it doesn't really matter which one do you put down first. So the next one here, which one do you want to put down first? The left bracket or the right bracket? It doesn't matter. Which one would you prefer to do? Sorry? Cameron, left or right?
Left.
Okay, so we're doing the left one first. So we're doing this one first, so I'm going to write it out just as we see it. Negative 3x minus x squared plus 4. Okay? Now, be careful with the next one, the right bracket. It's not in the same order. Number with number. Variables with variables. Negative 2. That one needs to go above the 4. Take the sign with it. Plus 2. X squared, so that goes above this one. Right? Negative 4x. X with x. Right? Then just go vertically. Right? All right. So the leftmost column, what do we have? No, not 2.
Oh, sorry.
So that's the rightmost column. This one would be 2. Yeah.
And middle is x to exponent 2.
Yep. X to exponent 2
And negative 7.
and negative 7.
X.
X. So now all the math there was done correctly, but if that was my final answer, I would take off a half a mark. What's this question missing? Right?
The positive sign.
Mason?
Subtraction sign.
Subtraction or plus signs, right? Every term needs to be separated by a plus or minus sign. So when we did this math in the middle column, that was a positive 1. So that's going to be a plus sign. When we did this, it was a positive 2. So we need to have a plus sign there as well. So make sure you have those signs, right? Now, that answer is 100%, gives you 100% of the marks. If you wanted to write it from highest degree to lowest degree, it would look like this.
Is the same mark? Is to
Same mark, right? This is just extra little step ahead if you wanted to do that, right? Okay. Try the next one by yourself and we'll probably go from there, right? Pick whichever you want to do first, all right? Right? And I'll slowly write mine up here. Right. Sorry? Next class, right? So the next page is a bit trickier. Subtracting, there's an extra step in there.
Oh, I got it.
Goes above which one?
I thought like.
It's always a like term, so this one has an x, no exponent, so it's gonna go above this one, x with no exponent. So that's why these two are above each other.
Like for this question, you put -2 on top of the +4.
Yeah.
I thought it.
No, it's like terms, right? So x with x squared with x squared. Number, no letters, number with no letters. That's what you gotta read. Not that they're both negative, that's not happening. Are there like, these are both numbers without letters, that's why these are. These are both x and 2, that's why these are together. These ones are just x's. Yeah, those ones are numbers. Okay? The last column is your right. No, +2 minus 3 again. Okay? So, your answer for this should look like that.